Hello, and welcome to East Africa NGO Podcast. I am your host, Patrick Hill. This program is sponsored by Team in Faith, supporting women, orphans, and vulnerable children in Uganda and elsewhere in East Africa since 2012. Today, I want to introduce you to Joshua Rukundo, Executive Director of the Kigezi Coffee Development Academy. Joshua organizes coffee farmers in Rukundo district in Southwest Uganda and helps increase production and quality of Ugandan coffee. Recently, Joshua and I had a conversation about the booming coffee industry in Uganda. Joining me now from Uganda on Skype is Joshua Rukundo. Joshua, very good to talk with you today.
Thank you, Patrick. I'm very honored to be talking to you this evening in the cold places of Chihihi in the Kigezi sub-region, where I am now and where I am very privileged to have known you, and now that we are going to have a better discussion on the work I'm doing here in Chihihi.
Great. Let's talk about your work with coffee farmers and how it is benefiting them as well as the coffee industry in Uganda.
Coffee in Uganda is a national crop of national strategic importance because it has over 1 million people who are directly involved in the growing of coffee. Given the fact that coffee is a very crop of national strategic importance, we pride in it, and that's why as the Kigezi Coffee Development Academy, we are confident that we are helping our people in ensuring that they not only benefit from coffee growing, but they also take part in drinking it, that is promoting domestic coffee consumption. For the last 1 decade, Uganda has been exporting about 3 million bags of 60 kilograms per year, but now we are moving towards 7 million bags of 60 kilograms, an indication that there is a significant contribution in the growth of coffee volumes from Uganda to many countries, including USA, where you are. And coffee generally has been a crop that has helped Uganda. Even during the COVID times, the coffee farmers kept on having revenue. And you can be surprised that shortly after COVID-19, the price of coffee in Uganda increased because the consumption had increased all over. So we are confident that coffee as a crop of national strategic importance, we are contributing towards the livelihoods of people. And I want to let you know that we have over 35 young people directly employed at Kigezi Coffee Development Academy, meaning that our contribution, even on employment, ending poverty, a sustainable development goal, making sure that our farmers have food in their garden, in their homes, that is food security, and also being mindful of environment. So that's where we have our trainings, looking at good agricultural practices and making sure farmers go organic, they plant some trees, plant some fruit trees. And on the issue of making sure Ugandan coffee is appreciated, we are promoting quality coffee production at farm level, post-harvest handling, transportation, and looking at cooperative enterprises where we want to see our farmers have cooperatives where they can gain collectively. And you can be surprised that in Kigezi, we did not have any certificate recognized internationally for the coffee we've been selling. But as Kigezi Coffee Development Academy, we are trying to begin the process of Rainforest Alliance. We want to be satisfied so that our farmers can get better premiums, because we have discovered this crop as a crop that can kick poverty, kick hunger, and make sure we have increased household incomes. And our vision is to see that our farmers take their children to better schools, enjoy better medical care, have better houses. And I am confident that coffee can do it because it has goodwill of government, it has goodwill of the masses. That is the status of Uganda coffee now. We are only scared of the prices that are coming up, but leaving up the prices, we are confident that coffee as a crop of national strategic importance is going to be more useful to the small household farmers here who need to survive on agriculture full time.
How are you actually helping the farmers? I mean, you've touched on a number of instances where you have contact with them. Are these farmers you are helping transition from other crops to a more profitable crop such as coffee?
As Kigezi Coffee Development Academy, we are doing about 5 things. And one of them is promoting cooperative enterprises, because each farmer was selling coffee independently, but we are trying to put them into cooperatives. As I speak now, we have 7,000 coffee farmers in 7 organized cooperatives. We also have one rice farmer cooperative where we have about 2,500 rice farmers in Rukundo and Kanungu. So we are encouraging other farmers who are not growing coffee to also grow other food crops, because we cannot keep on income generation alone. We also need food security. So we are trying to promote both. And we encourage them to have vegetables at home, have animals if they can. When they sell coffee, they should have saving with a purpose so that they can save and attain some of the basic needs at home. And that is in our advocacy and campaigns for quality coffee production. Secondly, we have organized our farmers into VSLAs, Village Savings and Loan Associations, where each cooperative has not less than 40 groups. And these 40 groups, each group has an average membership of 30. It has its own governance structures where they have the chairperson, the treasurer, the secretary, members, so that they can have a small governance within themselves, that they can manage the funds. And when they save more and loan themselves more, what KCD does is to make sure that that money is catered for and well looked for. And under this component, we even lobbied to make sure that we were looking at how farmers can own their savings, own their credit, and then also at their small groups, see their monies increase. Third, we are looking at training on gaps, good agricultural practices. Are they using the right pesticides that are recognized internationally, or they are using these other chemicals that were banned from international companies and international organizations? So we want to ensure we are looking at the right methods of planting coffee in their gardens. We want to see they are spraying using the right chemicals that are not very dangerous and not cancerous. Then we are looking at post-harvest handling. When we had just started, it was a mess. People were drying their coffee on grounds, bare grounds, or keeping their coffee even in shelters that were shared by animals. So we came in to campaign for better ways of drying coffee. That as we looked at post-harvest handling, on transportation, then where they process from. Actually, when we had begun, there were no cooperative factories or machines that would process coffee. But as we speak now, we have helped them establish 4, including Coffee Farmers Cooperative in Chihi, which is also owned by about 1,500 farmers. So we looked at all that, and we are also now making sure they look at how they can bulk their coffee. They look at the issues of certification, as I said before, and ensure that our farmers can enjoy premiums. The fourth, advocacy for quality coffee is not something we can end overnight. It becomes an independent component that we are looking at, because we want to make sure our farmers are really looking at quality coffee production as a very serious issue, because quality attracts better prices, quality attracts good reputation, and quality is a very significant component that we can follow and make sure our farmers not only enjoy the increasing prices of coffee currently, but they can have better premiums from that quality produce. And number 5 is on the issue of environment conservation. You are well aware that the issue of climate change is becoming a global issue. It is a crisis, actually, because our forefathers would just make a small hole and just put in coffee, and coffee would grow. But now you have to make sure you have a big hole, then put in coffee, then water it, and when there is sunshine, our coffee dries up. So we are mindful of farmers planting shade trees. We are mindful of our farmers making sure that they don't only look at the coffee as a source of revenue, but they should put trenches to reserve water when it rains. Then we are also looking at some trees we can grow like coriander and other trees that can support water retention and the growing of leguminous crops that actually add nitrogen and nitrogen in the soil. So we are not only stopping at that, we are making sure that we partner with the Uganda Coffee Development Authority and make sure that this authority is closely working with us as we work with Kanungu District Local Government to bring the district leadership and governance closer to people so that our people can feel the responsibility of government in providing, for example, organic fertilizer, in providing fungicides that actually help in reducing things like leaf rust, then coffee bean diseases, and also increasing our publicity. So those are 6 issues that we are currently doing to help our farmers as Kigezi Coffee Development Academy.
Excellent. Sounds like you have some good programs underway to assist them. Now, let's talk about some challenges post-pandemic for Uganda, elsewhere in East Africa. What are some of the economic impacts?
We were faced by the COVID-19 crisis. And as Africa, we were hit so badly. Though we did not lose a lot of people, but our economies were broken down. And we were left to survive on a few cash crops, and coffee being one of them. The only problem that happened was, yes, our farmers were producing this coffee. Families were there trying to put food on the table, but things were hard. We have people here who lost their dear ones. We also have children of coffee farmers who have lost a very big portion of their studies. For example, children did not study for about 2.5 years, and that is a very dangerous issue to the human resource development in our areas. And when you look at these children who have lost all of this, we have very many children who are struggling because there was automatic promotion. If you are in P1, you'd go to P2, P3, if you are in P2. And this has affected our children. So on the issue of education, things have not moved the way they would have moved. Then on agriculture, it gave people time to plant more crops and ensure that they had food. Africa is blessed, especially Uganda, which is the part of Africa, where we saw there was free labor because children went home. So the family was there. There was no movement. There was no going to work apart from those essential workers. So there was a very big contribution of children cooperating with their mothers and fathers and were joined home to ensure that they remained cultivating. So the issue of food was solved. But unfortunately, there was a lot of sunshine like it is hitting now. And our farmers lost their crop, especially for rice. Some families which were lucky to have areas near water streams or wetlands got food. But those who were far away from the wetlands where water would be, even up to now, there is still that pinch. I want to tell you that, for example, Chibimbi Rice Farmers Cooperative had given rice seed worth about 50 tons of rice, but they even failed to recover 30 tons of rice because sunshine had hit and there were no movement. People would not look for alternatives to irrigate, so that was a problem. And if you wanted pesticides or other things, there was a crisis for you to get those chemicals to spray, so there was a problem. And generally, the economic revenues of the country were affected by this setback because COVID reduced movement, reduced production. It is only agriculture that was working. So you would find that the issues, the revenue generation areas for the country were hit hard, which was very unfortunate. And for us, as workers, we were forced to lay out some workers. So there was unemployment during that time, though we are trying to recover. but we're not recovering at a pace we were recovering on. So we still need a combined effort to ensure that our farmers can regain this, but also the cooperatives can have people who can support them to make sure that they recover from this global crisis. And, we are recovering from COVID, but now we are also being affected by the prices, the skyrocketing prices of fuel. You can't believe that a liter of fuel now it is about 6,500 Ugandan shillings. It is slightly less than $2, but it used to be even less than $1, but now it is about $2. It is almost clocking $2, making it expensive for these people who were recovering from COVID. So it is an indication that from COVID, now the price crisis for fuel, because of the wars in Ukraine and Russia, which is affecting the global crisis. So we are looking at how we can find these farmers to recover from COVID. But as we are looking at this, now fuel prices are hitting in. So you are well aware that even the imports of Uganda during COVID times reduced. The access to drugs, healthcare was a problem because there was limited movement of people from one place to another. And as we are trying to recover from all that, I said, now the fuel prices are skyrocketing. And this one now makes it more expensive for people to do. I was talking about people growing food during COVID, but now even the prices of food have increased, in that everyone is making what he or she has expensive. And it is becoming a problem that we must contain collectively as we think about our local farmers, especially those of coffee and rice that we are directly working with, but also praying to God that the Ukraine-Russia war can end and probably we see another stabilization coming so that we are not affected by two dangerous things at the same time.
Yeah, I think you make a good point. Inflation is impacting societies around the world, in Africa, in North America, everywhere, and it's painful for people to have to live with that. But on the positive side, Uganda is one of Africa's leading coffee exporters. Seems like you have a great opportunity to grow the product and grow the industry there and throughout East Africa.
Uganda is blessed, if I can say it, and East Africa region as a whole. I also want to bring to your attention that Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, one of your favorite countries in Africa, has also joined the East African community under the East African integration. So we no longer have the 6 countries. They have become 7 now. And we are looking at it as a huge market for East African countries as they tap into millions of people in DRC. And to be specific on coffee, Uganda is more organized, and the government of Uganda has done its part, especially on ensuring that there is an independent authority, Uganda Coffee Development Authority. So Uganda's exports have increased over time, and we were looking at last year's report on how Uganda's coffee has increased. You can witness that if well marketed, Uganda's coffee can actually make a brand of its own outside there and not only increase revenue for the government of Uganda through taxes, but also increase household incomes for the people of Uganda. Because I want you to look at where over 1 million people are engaged in coffee growing, and there is already a market, not only in East Africa, because we export coffee to even South Sudan, we export coffee to Kenya. And the export to China, Europe is on an increase. So this means the future, the present and the future of coffee export from Uganda is not only going to impact on government revenue, as I said at the start, but it is also going to impact directly on the household incomes of people. And as I said before, that's why we are putting our effort on certification with Rainforest Alliance. Then we want to see as many people certified, because we are already making it. Even on the global brands, there is Vugishu Coffee. Vugishu Coffee is rated highly because it is certified. It is a union, Vugishu Cooperative Union. Then we have Ankole Coffee producers here in Western Uganda. Kanungu Coffee Farmers Union is coming on board. Of course, we are set back by a few things, but I am still coordinating about 7 cooperatives in my office. They have no office space. They have no furniture. So I am coordinating them at my office. They also want to make a union of their own. So we are believing that the more we become more organized, the more the future becomes brighter for us, especially with the anticipated market of the increasing global population of Africa and the rest of the world, where we have seen people export, we have seen people take Ugandan brands, we have seen Uganda market as on trade shows in Dubai. So the market for Ugandan coffee has been increasing over the years. So we are looking at this government's commitment to ensuring that Uganda exports about 25 million bags of 60 kilograms by 2026. The vision is huge. We might not make 20 million bags of 60 kilograms by 2025, but we shall move from the current 3.6 million bags of 60 kilograms to about maybe 10 million bags of 60 kilograms by that time, because the government's commitment to providing agro-inputs, to providing even seedlings, and making research so that we have now coffee wilt resistant seedlings. Now we have Corona coffee. Then we have research going on the soils on which type of coffee we should grow. So I am confident that the increasing market for Ugandan coffee can be a very good key for all of us, especially when the stakeholders are rightly engaged, rightly involved for the success of this crop of national strategic importance.
Uganda is productive, but so are some of your neighbors. Is there a ranking? Is Uganda, you and I spoke of this previously, but where does Uganda rank among coffee producers in East Africa, among your neighbors?
Okay, among our neighbors, when you talk about the neighbors, you talk about Kenya and Rwanda, you talk about even Ethiopia, which is the leading. And in East Africa, Uganda is number 1. When it comes to Africa, Uganda has been even among the top 3. And in the whole world, Uganda has been ranked the 7th. So when we come to the Uganda's position, it is very smart. Uganda is going to get the first position from Ethiopia soon, because we have seen Uganda's commitment to growing coffee a realistic one, because we have seen Uganda move from the 7th position in Africa to the 3rd, and we have seen it grow from the 2nd position to the 1st. So I am confident that Uganda is going to be better, especially on making sure the coffee volumes and the quality increases.
Well, I think it sounds like Kigezi Coffee Development Academy has been a great supporter for the Ugandan coffee growers, and your council is certainly leading their effort to increase production, increase sales around the world, and that's really an amazing story in a short period of time.
Yes, Patrick, you know when you met me in 2015 and how we started. From nowhere, we were actually using our pens and paper to register our farmers, to make sure that our farmers are getting access to information, making sure our farmers are registered. making sure our farmers actually adopt better methods of coffee export. We never took that for granted. So from humble beginnings, Kigezi Coffee Development Academy has contributed towards employment. It has contributed towards improving the quality of coffee. And that's why in Kanungu district, you know the stretch from Bwindi to Chihihi to Rujeyo, Kanungu in Kigezi region, Kanungu among the 6 districts is ranked number 1 coffee producer. So there are other districts that are producing coffee like Rukunjiri, Chisoro, part of Kabale, and Ruchiga, Rubanda. But I want to bring to your attention that Kanungu, where we are, where our officer station, is now ranked number 1 from Rukunjiri, which used to take that position, because Kanungu has planted over 10 million seedlings for the last 5 years. So we are confident that our vision is going to be realistic, especially when we continue making sure that our farmers are organized. We continue ensuring that our farmers are getting the right services, and we can take it on top. So among the coffee that is exported from Uganda, in the Kigezi sub-region, Kanungu becomes number 1, meaning our contribution is significant. So there was a poll made by the Independent magazine in 2020. I think it was in December. Uganda became 3rd in the whole world in coffee exports. And you see, this was during the COVID times. So this means, and most of Uganda's coffee was rating at about 84.05%. So we did this, and the ED of UCD, Uganda Coffee Development Authority, was very moved, and he appreciated us. So meaning Uganda taking the 3rd position in the whole world in 2020 from the 7th position it had previously is a very great encouragement that we also pride in, because we also contributed to the quality of coffee that is leaving Uganda. So another thing is that by the end of last year, Uganda was already ranked number 1 in East Africa. So it was now taking over Ethiopia, which was number 1. No, it would take over. This is what I want to say. It would take over Ethiopia, which has always been number 1. The only problem that Uganda's coffee had that we are trying to solve additionally to the promotion of quality coffee is promoting domestic coffee consumption. When we started in 2014, Uganda's coffee was always ranked at about 3 to 6% about domestic coffee consumption. But we are also among the people that have introduced a local brand called Kigezi Coffee, where we are choosing the best beans from our coffee cooperatives. Then we sort them ourselves and then go to Kampala, roast them, grind them, and bring them back to Chihihi. And we have seen our sale volumes. So now it is on record that Uganda's domestic coffee consumption rate has increased to above 10%. So this means if we continue at this rate, Uganda's coffee is also going to increase more on domestic coffee consumption. What does this mean? This means we're going to have an increasing local market for domestic coffee consumption, but also have an increasing external market. So these 2 markets will largely contribute to household incomes and to people consuming their own coffee, because they used to send over 93% or 94% of 3 million bags of 60 kilograms outside this country. But now we have seen some Ugandans take up the mantle of making sure they can also take part, drink this coffee, and they know how their coffee tastes. So I am confident that this crop of national importance is going to impact positively on the farmers, on the people who are involved in the trading, the buying and selling, and even to the people that actually will finally buy it in Europe, even in other parts of Africa, because we are doing our best to make sure we satisfy our coffee, but also increase the quality of coffee, make sure our farmers are enjoying make sure our customers are enjoying, and we're employing more people as we kick out hunger and ensure that our people have food and their incomes have increased.
It's been great to talk with you and to learn more about how you are encouraging farmers and encouraging the growth of coffee in East Africa and elsewhere. How can listeners and others best learn about your organization and support Kigezi Coffee Development Academy?
Well, thank you very much, Patrick. For our partners, well-wishers, potential donors who would want to contribute to our great cause in promoting quality coffee production, as we support our local farmers here, can check on our website, www.kcdacoffee.org. I repeat, www.kcdacoffee.org. It is our website, and we are trying to see how we can improve it better. So you can find our contacts there, and when you send us an email, we shall definitely get back. The telephone number is there on WhatsApp. We can chat and begin a relationship that can lead to more impacts in our cause to fight poverty, increase household incomes, employ more people, contribute to the environment, contribute to our communities, and ensure that the children of coffee farmers go to school. Yeah, as we contribute as young people, because young people have a future, and the future of this world will be better largely because young people are innovative and are supported by people out there who want to see their visions, their dreams come to pass.
I look forward to seeing you next visit to Uganda. It's been a few years. It's long overdue.
Thank you, Patrick. And I can't wait to see you there so that I can now show you our contributions. I can now show you our achievements. I wait to see that day when you'll come.
That was Joshua Rukundo, Executive Director of Kigezi Coffee Development Academy and an enthusiastic supporter of coffee farmers in Uganda. To learn more about Joshua's work and the work of the Kigezi Coffee Development Academy, you can find them online at kcdacoffee.org. Thank you for listening today. This program is sponsored by Team in Faith, lifting lives and raising hopes in Uganda and elsewhere in East Africa since 2012. If you are able and interested, make a donation to support our projects involving women, orphans, and vulnerable children. Visit our website at teaminfaith.org. I'll be back again soon to introduce you to another organization that is helping our brothers and sisters in East Africa. For East Africa NGO, I'm Patrick Hill.